99% needs to be decolonized. People who say that 99% needs to be decolonized are right. Of course, it needs to be. But there is a way that we need to push to create this we that makes who we are now here today more generous, more inclusive. We have to make that effort. We have to reach out to working class people. We have to reach out to people of color. We have to do everything we have to create this space to be as diverse as possible. And this is something that is absolutely necessary, and I would say unavoidable, if we are really to think in terms of anti-capitalist revolutionary struggle. And not to think in terms of anti-capitalist revolutionary struggle today is simply irresponsible. Everybody who cares about Oakland, about San Francisco, about the United States, about the world, needs to be anti-capitalist today. And not any kind of anti-capitalist. We need also to refuse the state. We need to say enough with the old left ideas about taking the power of the state, about going to the city hall, about making demands. We can make demands, but in a very different way, because we are revolutionaries. And we need to be revolutionaries. We need to say basta, enough, with taking, not only with these people, not only with the politicians, not only with the parliamentarians, but just like people in Greece are doing right now. We have to say basta, enough to the statist imagination, statist politics that ruled the left since 1917. We need to destatify our thinking. We need to decolonize our thinking. We need to embrace what is the most beautiful, most generous in the tradition of revolutionaries who lived and fought and died before us. There were so many of them. These are beautiful stories. We need to remember people from Spanish Republic, from Spanish Civil War, from Spanish Revolution. We need to remember all the martyrs from all anti-colonial struggles. We need to remember everybody here in Oakland in the 60s and 70s who fought against the same things that we are fighting against today. We are continuing a legacy, but we are doing more than just continuing a legacy. We are also creating something new. And we are learning respectfully from people who came here before us. We are trying to rectify, correct some of their mistakes, not only to develop their wonderful, intelligent, creative insight. And this is what I mean by liberating our political imagination from capitalism and from the state. Please, there is absolutely no room anymore for what in an old-fashioned language was called reformism. There is no room anymore for thinking about police as something that is good, about us trying to reach out to the police, to speak the truth to power. Power doesn't care about the truth. The power creates its own truth. And the same thing is something that we need to do. We need to create a strong, interracial, anti-capitalist movement that existed in this country. We are not the first ones. Remember the IWW, Industrial Workers of the World, the first union formed in 1905 that actually admitted women, African Americans, people of every possible race and ethnicity, and created a movement that was so strong, so powerful, that made President Wilson not only send them to prison, but actually go to war. And that was the beginning of the First World War. We need to do the same. Enough with parliamentary politics. If there is one thing that this occupation movement makes completely clear, from Italy, Greece, from India, all the way to San Francisco, is that this is the end of liberal democracy. This is the end of parliamentary politics.